In kinematics, first we shall learn about the different variables which describe motion. Okay, uh, like distance, displacement. Distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration, all these are okay some variables okay which we use in order to describe motion. Okay, maybe even before that okay I can add position also. Okay, so position, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration, all these things are used okay in order to describe motion. Okay, and motion is split into or like categorized into one dimensional motion, two dimensional motion, okay, and three dimensional motion. So this week we will not learn about two dimensional motion. So this week we will learn about one dimensional motion. So our analysis of one dimensional motion or any motion, actually two dimensional or three dimensional anything, will be involving these variables okay that I am listing on the board. And we use them in order to describe motion. And analysis means okay simple, given a situation we'll ask ourselves some questions okay and try to answer them. After we answer some of our own questions okay we will be able to answer okay some other questions okay which are posed in the examination. Okay, and later you may use this knowledge okay in design of some machines and all okay later as engineers and all. So now coming to the point position. So position vector, how do you define position vector? So position of an object which is moving in space, how do you define it? So for it, in order to define position, we require a reference. Okay, reference means some reference point, which in mathematical terminology is called as origin. Okay, and axis. Okay, so a reference point that is called origin and the axis together okay is called a frame. Okay, you can call it as a frame. Okay, whose definite velocity and acceleration, all these things will be known, but typically in the beginning we take that the frame is at rest. Okay, the observer is at rest. Okay, so there is a fixed point which is called origin okay which shall be defined, and an axis okay passing through these origin. The axis can be okay it depends on the coordinate system that you take. Suppose if you take Cartesian coordinate system, in space you will have x, y, z, three mutually perpendicular axes which are fixed. Whereas if you take polar coordinate system, you will have r, theta, okay, and phi like variables, okay, and the corresponding axis and all which you keep rotating, okay. So that we will not discuss right now because that is our interest in circular motion chapter. At the moment, we'll be discussing about things in Cartesian coordinate system. So let this be origin O, this be x-axis and this is y-axis, let us say. Now any point P which is in the x, xy plane, it may have coordinates x comma y. Position vector is nothing but vector that joins origin to this point P. Okay, so that is position vector, typically denoted by r bar. Now, according to our understanding of vectors from the last chapter and all, we can realize that this r bar is nothing but the summation of two vectors. One is along x direction, which is xi cap. The other is along y direction, which is yj cap. So r bar is equal to xi cap plus yj cap. Now this is because we are taking in the plane of the board. If you consider space, then you will have r bar as xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So if a point is at x comma y comma z, its position vector with respect to origin will be xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. Okay. Now next thing is, let us talk about displacement. Okay, then we'll come back to distance. Let us say a particle is at some position 1 initially, which is denoted by x1, y1, and it has gone to position 2, which is denoted by x2, y2. Okay. Now, the particle is going from 1 to 2 in whatever way. Okay. So its final position is 2, denoted by x2, y2. Initial position is 1, denoted by x1, y1. It is going from 1 to 2 in any random way, does not really matter. Okay. For displacement, we only we only look at the initial and final positions, and a straight arrow which joins the initial and final positions, that is called displacement. Okay. So displacement is a vector which joins the initial position and final position, and it is towards the final position, away from the initial position. Now, if I have to write the position vector when it is at position 1, that means what is its initial position vector? This is the initial position vector. I can denote it by r1 bar. R1 bar is x1 I cap plus y1 j cap. Similarly, the final position vector, from origin to the position 2, if I just join, that is r2 bar, which is x2 I cap plus y2 j cap. Now, from our triangle law of vector addition, I can clearly understand that r1 bar plus s bar is equal to r2 bar. So s bar is equal to what? The displacement is nothing but r2 bar minus r1 bar. The change in the position vector, or the difference between final position vector and initial position vector, that is nothing but the displacement. Okay. So displacement is r2 bar minus r1 bar. So similarly, suppose you have to write it in x1, x2, y1, y2 form. It is given by x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap. That is how you can write the displacement. So suppose in 3D if we have to talk, if the point object is going from x1 y1 z1 to x2 y2 z2, then its displacement is given by x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap. That is how you can write the displacement, okay, using the Cartesian coordinates. Okay. So far what we have learned is that displacement is nothing but a change in the position. Okay. Now it does not matter how the motion has taken place. Suppose if you know the initial and final position between two instants, okay, then simply you can find the difference in the position vectors that will give you the displacement vector. So that is how we can calculate or obtain displacement vector. Okay. So in 2D I have written it. In 3D it will be x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap. That is how you can represent the displacement, okay, in 3D when the object is going from a point x1 y1 z1 to x2 y2 z2. So that is displacement. Okay. Now let us go to distance. Oh, by the way, of course, as you know, we can give you the video, but I cannot give you any slides or anything. There is nothing smart about this. Okay, this is not a smart board. Please understand. So accordingly, okay, please take care. If some of you want to write the notes, okay, you may have to catch up with my speed and write the notes. Okay. Now we have to learn about distance. So what is the distance? Okay. So our objective is to go from a point 1 to a point 2. Okay. Initial and final positions are fixed. Then displacement is always fixed. Okay. However, distance, okay, can be different. Suppose if you want to go, who is this 165? 165 is regularly starting the video and stopping the video. Okay. I'll not do anything. Okay. I'll just message in the group once. Let the college take whatever they want to do. I don't care. So if we have to go from 1 to 2, okay, there are different paths. For example, if we want to go from Guntur to, let us say, Vijayawada, okay, we can take a bus route, we can take, there are maybe 1 or 2 routes, we can take 2 routes, and or we can take actually flight, we can take, okay, if at all is possible, we can go on a helicopter, or you can go by train. So in all these paths, the distance covered will be different, okay. Distance is nothing but length of the path that has been covered. So in order to calculate distance, all you can do is, as you are moving along your path, just lay down a thread, okay, then it will take the shape of your path, which is uneven. Then afterwards you take the thread, straighten it, measure with a scale, so then you will get the length of the path. Or you can break okay, your total path into several small line segments. When you add the length of all the line segments, you will get the total distance, okay, traveled. Therefore, distance is nothing but length of the path that has been covered, okay. Length of the path covered is distance, okay. So we have defined so far position vector, displacement, and distance, okay. Now next thing is definition of speed and velocity, okay. So let us discuss about speed. Speed is rate of change of the distance traveled. Rate of change of distance traveled with respect to time, okay, is called speed. For example, if the distance covered is given as a function of time, so let us denote the distance covered by s. Okay. Then what is speed? Because in the first chapter, basic mathematics, we have learned that the differentiation gives you the rate of change of something. Okay. Therefore, speed is rate of change of distance covered with respect to time. So it can be denoted by ds by dt. It can be denoted by ds by dt. Okay. So that is the thing. Now, next thing is, here itself we have to spend some time. So if speed is rate of change of distance traveled with respect to time, then what is actually distance by time? That sometimes in before 10th standard you learn. That is not really speed, it is called average speed. Okay. So suppose if you take an interval of time, okay. So the speed that we are talking about, you can talk about it at 10:30, at 11 o'clock, at 11:30, like that. But if I want average speed, then you have to say, okay, what is the average speed between 11 to 11:30, or during the interval 11 to 11:30, or what is the average speed during the interval 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. That is how you can discuss about average speed. So mathematically speaking, the speed can be talked about at any time t. Okay. But average speed means you have to give us an interval. Okay. What is the average speed between t1 to t2? Okay. Like that, it shall be given. Then in that interval, we can find what is the distance traveled in that interval. Okay. So the distance covered in a certain time divided by the time taken, the length of the time interval, that gives you average speed. So in order to differentiate between, differentiate means distinguish or like classify separately, okay, the average speed and the speed is also named as instantaneous speed. Okay, the speed that we talk about by default is instantaneous speed. Okay, and if you take distance traveled over time taken, that is okay, average speed. Mathematical definition of average speed would be Integral ds from T1 to T2 divided by T2 minus T1. Okay. Our average speed I will write here. It is integral ds by integral dt, which eventually converts to integral ds divided by T2 minus T1. That is average speed. Now this speed that we generally talk about, okay, is now changed to instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Okay. So please make a note. Those of you want to make a note. So the next thing is about velocity. Next thing is about velocity. Okay. Okay. So, what is velocity? Velocity by definition is rate of change of displacement. Rate of change of displacement. Now, displacement is typically denoted by S bar. Okay. Which is equal to, if you want the displacement between two instants of time t1 and t2, then it may be r2 bar minus r1 bar, where r2 bar is the position at t2, r1 bar is the position at t1. But if you want a general displacement, then position vector at any time, if it is r bar, and if initial position vector is ri bar, then general displacement can be written as r bar minus ri bar. So remember one thing, ri bar, that is the initial position vector. That means what is the position of the object at t equal to 0. That does not change with time. Okay, it is basically a vector at a particular instant of time. It is like a like for example, initially at 10:30 you are in Guntur, then you are traveling. So as you keep traveling, your position may keep changing. But what is your initial position? You are at Guntur, that's all. That cannot be changed. So ri bar does not change with time. The initial position vector does not change with time. That shall be very carefully remembered. So ri bar does not change with time. Ri bar does not change with time. Okay. Now, what is velocity? Rate of change of displacement. So accordingly, v bar is equal to ds bar by dt. That is d by dt of r bar minus ri bar. Now, as I said, initial position does not change with time. Okay, it's a fixed thing. Therefore, when you differentiate d by dt of r bar is fine, but d by dt of ri bar will be 0 always. There is no need to worry. So therefore, v bar, which is equal to ds bar by dt, can also be written as dr bar by dt. So velocity, which is the differentiation of the displacement vector, is also the differentiation of position vector. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, this mathematical definition of the velocity, okay, is important. Okay, it will help us in some things. Okay, now for example, if you want the average velocity between t1 and t2, okay, then how do you calculate? I will discuss in the next after erasing this. Okay, now so I hope you understood this. The velocity, okay, is given by ds bar by dt, which is equal to dr bar by dt. Okay, that is the main idea. So suppose if the particle has a position r1 bar at t1 and r2 bar at t2, then what is the displacement in this time? R2 bar minus r1 bar. What is the time taken? T2 minus T1. Then the average velocity is given by R2 bar minus R1 bar upon T2 minus T1. Okay. R2 bar minus R1 bar is nothing but displacement. Okay. Instead of that, because S bar now will be general displacement by any time. So if it is a particular displacement between T1 and T2, let us write this R2 bar minus R1 bar as S12 bar. That means the displacement between T1 and T2. S12 bar divided by, or simply based on your 10th class definitions and all, total displacement by total time is average velocity. Average velocity is given by total displacement upon total time, whereas instantaneous velocity is given by rate of change of displacement, okay, with time, that is ds bar by dt. Okay. So writing both of them at one place, we get these are the, okay, formulae which we shall finally carry. Okay, these are the formulae which we shall carry. Okay, instantaneous velocity and average velocity. Okay. Now, last thing is about acceleration. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Now, mathematically, A is equal to dv bar by dt. A is equal to dv bar by dt. That's all. Okay. And average acceleration in the interval t1 to t2 is given by the change in velocity divided by the length of the time interval, that is t2 minus t1. These are definitions of, okay, all the things. Hereafter, we will be looking at the applications of these things, okay. I mean, maybe in the form of some few problems or some kind of equations that we write hereafter. So we have just noted the definitions of all the variables that describe motion, like position, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, and acceleration. Okay, and we have actually discussed about okay, average velocity and average acceleration also. Okay. However, now, or even average speed also we have discussed. Okay. Now, as you know, distance is a scalar, speed is a scalar, average speed is a scalar. Displacement, position, displacement, velocity, average velocity, acceleration, average acceleration, all these things are indeed vectors. All these things are indeed vectors. Okay. So now let us start from the beginning once again. And we'll be solving small problems and parallelly writing some equations which will be helpful, okay, in solving problems at a later point of time. Okay, so that is the thing we have to do now. Now let us start from position, okay, or distance, displacement, and the relations, all those things. Okay, so let us talk about those things. Okay, so now let us say there is a circle of radius r. On this circle, let me take 4 points A, B, C, D, okay, at 0 angle, 90 angle, 180 angle, and 270 angle. Let us take 4 points, okay, on this circle as shown. Now, suppose if somebody is going from A to B along this circular road, what is the distance traveled and what is the displacement? Okay, that is the question. Or if somebody is going from A to C, so these kind of things. Okay, so somebody goes from A to B. Okay, what is the distance? It is the length of the path covered, as you all know. The radius of the circle is r. Then length of the path covered is pi by 2 times r. So that is distance. Pi by 2 times r will be the distance. Okay. Now, what is displacement? Displacement is a vector. Okay. So first of all, you have to discuss about the coordinate axis which you are choosing and all those things to represent it properly. But it does not change based on your coordinate system. Okay. So suppose if you ask me strictly what is the displacement, just join A and B, that will be the displacement. That is r root 2. The magnitude of displacement will be r root 2, there is no doubt in it. However, displacement is a vector, so we have to denote it in the vector form only. We have to write it in the vector form only. For that, may we choose this as x direction, this as y direction. Then it is quite obvious. Initial position vector is r times I cap. Final position vector is r times j cap. So, final r2 minus r1 bars. Final position vector when it is at B is r times j cap. Initial position vector when it is at A is r times I cap. So that is how the displacement vector is given. Now if you take the magnitude of this vector, you will get r root 2. As I said before, the magnitude of displacement can be easily found using the geometry. Straight away join A and B, that is the displacement. So we know that this will form a right angle triangle. And so the two sides are r and r. So hypotenuse is r root 2. So the displacement from A to B is indeed r root 2. Okay. That you can obtain by using this vector notation also, okay, just by taking the magnitude, okay. So the vector displacement can be represented in this manner, okay. Now let us move on to, okay, another simple thing. Suppose if we go from A to C, what is the distance, what is the displacement? Since you are going along the circular track, A to C, the distance traveled is pi r, while the displacement will be simply 2r, or if you strictly speak, minus 2r I cap, like that. Okay, A to C when you are going, the displacement will be minus 2r I cap. So that is how, okay, you see things. Now let us move ahead a bit, okay, and try to talk about let's say speed and average speed, velocity, average velocity, all such things. Now, if the speed, sorry, the distance covered by, write down, all of you may write down a question, okay. If the distance covered by an object if the distance covered by an object is given by s is equal to 2t square, find its speed at t equal to 2 seconds, okay. So maybe s is equal to 2t square in meters, the unit is meters. Very simple question, try to do it. So fairly simple question, okay. You're asking speed. D by dt of t square is 2t, into 2 you have to do because there is a 2 already. So it is 4t. At any time t, the speed is 4t. So speed at 2 seconds will be 4 into 2, which is 8 meter per second. 4 into 2, which is 8 meter per second. Okay. Fairly simple question. Okay. Not a big deal. Please make a note. Now, let us discuss a little tough question. Okay. let us say position of a particle at any time t is position of a particle at any time t is given by five cos t I cap plus 5 sin t j cap. Position of a particle at any time t is given by 5 cos t I cap plus 5 sin t j cap. Then the question asked out of us will be find the distance traveled. Find the distance traveled in the interval from t equal to 0 to t equal to 5 seconds. The position vector is given like that, where t is in seconds. Okay. So all of you try to find it. Think about it. Fairly a simple question. So how do we discuss this? Such a position vector is typically written in a circular path. Okay, r cos theta I cap, r sin theta j cap, like that. Okay. So here, or if you still don't want that, there is another way of doing it. Okay. First find dr bar by dt. Well, that will give you speed. Sorry, that will give you velocity. Suppose if you differentiate the position vector, it will give you the instantaneous velocity. I already told you. Okay, v is equal to ds bar by dt is equal to dr bar by dt. So remember one thing, constants, whether vectors or scalars, can always be taken out of integration as well as differentiation. Whether constants are scalar constants or vector constants, they can always be taken out of differentiation and integration. So here 5 I cap is a constant, 5 j cap is a constant. So there are two differentials here, this plus the differential of this. In both the differentials, we can take out the 5 I cap and 5 j cap because they are constant vectors. Okay. So this will be five I cap into d by dt of cos t plus 5 j cap into d by dt of sin t. Okay. That is what it is. Now, this d by dt of cos t will give us what? Minus sin t. So, and d by dt of sin t is what? Cos t. So, the velocity at any time has come out to be minus 5 sin t I cap plus 5 cos t j cap. Okay, minus 5 sin t I cap plus 5 cos t j cap. Now remember one thing, instantaneous speed is always the magnitude of instantaneous velocity. Okay, instantaneous speed, okay, is definitely the magnitude of instantaneous velocity. Okay, this I will prove it okay at little time later, because if I do it now you may get confused. Okay, but here I will just give it as a point. So now till here you can, now those of you who want to make a note can make a note. So the velocity is minus 5 sin t I cap plus 5 cos t j cap. Now what I will do is, instantaneous speed is equal to magnitude of instantaneous velocity. Here I have written it in short, okay, because space constraints. So instantaneous speed is magnitude of instantaneous velocity. Okay, that is always true. Okay, and we'll prove it okay in a short time. Don't worry about it. Now here, okay, what is the magnitude of instantaneous velocity? Our instantaneous velocity is found to be its x component is minus 5 sin t, y component is 5 cos t. Okay, now if I have to write its magnitude, it will be under root of minus 5 sin t whole square plus 5 cos t whole square. Okay, now that will be nothing but 25 sin square t plus 25 cos square t under root, which is under root sin square t plus cos square t into 25, which is 1. Sin square t plus cos square t is 1, so root 25 is 5, which gives us an idea that the particle is indeed moving with a constant speed, because at any instant t, if I find the instantaneous speed, it has come out to be 5. So which tells us that the particle is moving with constant speed. If it is moving with constant speed, directly distance traveled will be speed into time. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. The speed, instantaneous speed v, which here we found as 5, can be written as ds by dt, where f is the distance traveled. Please understand, it's not displacement. We are not putting any bar here. Now if I want dx integral, which is nothing but the total distance traveled, that is equal to, constant can be taken out, integral v dt, but here it is 5 into integral dt, because 5 is a constant that I have pulled out of the integration. Now that is nothing but 5 into total time. Now the time taken from 0 to pi seconds is nothing but pi seconds. So the pi minus 0, which is pi seconds. Therefore, the distance traveled is nothing but 5 pi meters. The distance traveled, the distance covered in this time is nothing but 5 pi meters. Okay. So the point is, we can recognize that such a position vector is possible only in circle, and it is going from one end to the other end, one end of the diameter to the other end of the diameter. In doing so, the distance traveled will be pi into r, where r is 5 here. That's why it has come out to be 5 pi. The other way, what we found is, we found the velocity, instantaneous velocity, by differentiating the position vector. We found that it has a constant magnitude of 5. That means the instantaneous speed is a constant. When the speed is a constant, you can write the distance traveled to be, okay, multiplication of speed and time. So 5 into pi will give us the distance traveled. Okay. How I could get this idea that such a position vector is possible only in circular motion, I mean like on a circular path, I will tell you now. Consider a particle moving in a circle. Consider an angle theta from this reference. Now, if the radius of the circle is r, we understand that this position vector will have two components. R cos theta and R sin theta. And if I consider the xy directions as shown on the board now, we can easily understand that the position vector can be given by now. Some of you might be knowing, if the angular speed is omega, then the angle rotated by time t will be omega t. So accordingly, a typical position vector in terms of time, when the particle is moving in a circular path, particularly uniform circular path, uniform circular motion, that will be r cross omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap. And here omega has come out to be 1. That is why we have the position vector as r cos t I cap, I mean 5 cos t I cap plus 5 sin t j cap. So by looking at such a position vector, I can understand that it is indeed moving in a circular path of radius 5, r equal to 5 here, and with radius 5 and t is equal to what? I mean omega t is t, so omega is 1 here. That means 2 pi by time period is 1. Okay. Therefore, the time period is 2 pi seconds. In pi seconds, it will go in how much? So in pi seconds, it will travel half the way. That's why it has come here. Okay. Or simply put t. Okay. Whatever is inside the sine or cos, that is the angle. The angle is changing from 0 to pi. That means the particle will go from 0 angle to pi angle. So it will go to the other side. So in that, how much path it would travel? The perimeter, half perimeter of the circle, which is nothing but 5 pi. Otherwise also, okay, by finding the speed and multiplying with time also, we got the distance traveled to be 5 pi. So that is consistent. Okay. So this is how we solve such problems. Okay. Now, after solving that problem, okay, we have to solve many problems actually. Okay, typically you will be given position vector, okay, in different ways. So they will give you r bar is equal to 2t I cap plus 3t square j cap. Okay, then they will ask you, okay, find the velocity at some instant, okay, or find the displacement by some instant like that. So for example, find the displacement by 2 seconds and the velocity at 3 seconds, equal to 3 seconds is being asked. Okay. Then what you have to do is displacement by 2 seconds. When they say, by default they mean the displacement between t equal to 0 and t equal to 2. Because initial instant is not given, we take t equal to 0 as the initial instant. Okay. Displacement by 2 seconds means that will be nothing but R2 bar minus R0 bar. That means substitute t equal to 2 in R bar, then you will get R2 bar. That means R at 2, the position vector at 2 seconds. And substitute t equal to 0 there, you will get the position at t equal to 0, which is happens to be 0 only. Then you subtract, you will get the displacement. So at 2, we have 4i cap plus 3 into 4, that is 12 j cap, minus 0 bar. Okay. So by the time 2 seconds, the displacement is 4i cap plus 12 j cap. 4i cap plus 12 j cap is the displacement. Now if we want the velocity at 3 seconds, what you have to do is differentiate dr bar by dt. That is d by dt of 2t is 2. So 2i cap. d by dt of 3t square will be 3 into 2 into t, which is 60 j cap. And now velocity at 3 seconds is being asked. So substitute t equal to 3 here. Okay, you will get so the velocity at t equal to 3 seconds will be 2i cap plus 18 j cap. 2i cap plus 18 j cap. That is the velocity. So this is how you solve simple problems, okay, based on the relations between velocity, okay, displacement, time, all these relations, okay, based on these relations, this is how you solve things, okay. So we have gone through algebraic, we have to go through graphical analysis also, okay. But before going to graphs, okay, we will do sufficient, okay, progress before going to graphs, okay. Now, what if velocity is given and displacement is being asked? Okay. Now you please concentrate on this problem carefully. Okay. So let us say the velocity of the particle is given by velocity of a particle is given by two t I cap plus 3t square j cap plus t k cap. Okay. So the velocity of a particle is given by 2t I cap plus 3t square j cap plus t k cap. Now let us say just a moment. Let me make it a little bit simple. Okay. No. Okay, no problem. 2t I cap plus 3t square j cap plus t k cap. Okay, the velocity is given like that. Now, the question that will be asked out of us, okay, will be, what if we are asked, okay, to find the displacement, okay, displacement in the interval between t equal to t equal to 1 to t equal to 2. This is fairly easy. What if we are asked for distance? That will be too tough. Okay, let us not do it in this question. We'll solve in the next question. Okay, very similar one we will do. Now, if you want the displacement, okay, we have to use the fact that v bar is equal to ds bar by dt. So ds bar is equal to v bar dt. Total displacement is integral ds bar. Okay, so integral v dt between t equal to 1 to t equal to 2. So that is integration of 2t dt I cap plus 3t square dt j cap plus t dt k cap from 1 to 2. Now the displacement will be integral 2t dt is nothing but t square. Integral 3t square dt is nothing but t cube. Plus integral t dt is nothing but t square by 2. Okay. Now you substitute upper limit, lower limit, subtract. Accordingly, you can evaluate the integral. You already know it. So now the displacement is given by so substitute 2, you will get 2 square, that is 4, minus 1 square, that is 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 cube is 8. 1 cube is 1. So 8 minus 1 is 7. 2 square by 2 is 4 by 2. 1 square by 2 is 1 by 2. 4 minus 1 by 2 is 3 by 2. So the displacement is found to be 3i cap plus 7j cap plus 1.5 k cap. That's a simple thing. Okay. So this is how you can obtain velocity when position vector is given or the displacement when velocity vector is given. All such things you can easily do, okay, by using differentiation and integration. Okay. So velocity to displacement will be integration, whereas position to velocity or displacement to velocity will be differentiation. Okay. So you should very clearly realize this process to be used. Okay. Accordingly, okay, it will be very easy for you. Okay. So please keep these things in mind. Okay. That will be quite useful in the days to come. Now, let us solve some simple problems. Okay. For example, if velocity is given by I cap plus t times j cap. Velocity is given by I cap plus t times j cap. Then if suppose somebody asks you what is the displacement in the interval from t equal to 1 to t equal to 2, and also they ask you how much distance is traversed by the object in the interval t equal to 1 to t equal to 2. Let us say these two questions are posed. Okay. You can now find out the displacement. Now how to find the distance I will tell you. First let me finish up displacement also. Okay. S bar is equal to integral v bar dt from 1 to 2, which is, there is nothing here, 1 only. So 1 into dt is dt only. Integral dt from 1 to 2 I cap plus integral dt from 1 to 2 I cap plus integral t dt from 1 to 2 j cap. So the displacement integral dt from 1 to 2 will be 2 minus 1, which is 1, plus integral t dt from 1 to 2, as just now we have done, it is 3 by 2. This is the displacement in the interval from t equal to 1 to t equal to 2. Now let us find out the distance. To find out distance, at any time, the instantaneous velocity is given by I cap plus t j cap. Instantaneous speed is nothing but magnitude of instantaneous velocity, which you can prove mathematically, which I will do it little later, don't worry. Magnitude of instantaneous velocity is what here? The x component of velocity is 1, y component is t. So, the speed is given by root of 1 plus t square. Now, if speed is known as a function of time, distance is nothing but v dt, because speed is ds by dt. ds, the small distance traveled in a small time, dt is nothing but integral, v dt. If you want the total distance covered, then you have to do integral v dt. So the total distance will be integral v dt, which is it is quite different from calculation of displacement, because there we have to integrate 1 and t separately. 1 dt we have integrated, t dt we have integrated along x and y. That was quite easy. But the distance covered is difficult to integrate. We have got 1 plus t square dt. In order to perform this integration, we have to make use of certain things. For example, we can take a substitution thing. In substitution, it is like we have t is equal to some tan theta or something. If you substitute, you may be able to integrate this. Quite a tough integration. But one moment. There is no easier method of doing this. So take t is equal to tan theta. Then dt will be equal to secant square theta d theta. Now substitute. So I have substituted t as tan theta. Then dt has come out to be secant square theta d theta. Overall, the integral will come out to be under root of 1 plus tan square theta is also secant square theta. Root secant square theta is secant theta. So ultimately, it comes out to be secant cube theta d theta integral. It comes out to be secant cube theta d theta integral. Secant cube theta d theta integral. Now it's not very difficult, but like you can write secant cube theta as secant theta into secant square theta. Then secant square theta is 1 plus tan square theta. So 1 plus tan square theta, if you write, then just a moment, let me think. That is one way of doing it. Let us do it that way only. Secant cube theta is there, write it as secant theta into secant square theta. Secant square theta you write it as 1 plus tan square theta. which transforms to two integrals. One is secant theta d theta, and the other is secant theta into tan square theta into d theta. You can just, I have just expanded that bracket. Nothing great I have done. Now, first integral is very easy. I already told you the formula for this. It is ln of secant theta plus tan theta. And what is tan square theta secant theta d theta? Okay. So that is sin square theta divided by cos cube theta into d theta. Okay. It is sin square theta divided by cos cube theta into d theta. Okay. Now that is again tough to integrate. Okay. No problem. Okay. No problem. Maybe we have taken some unnecessarily tough question. Okay. You can solve this later also. Don't worry much. Okay. Because this integration is not a part of our physics. Okay. You can solve it even using web integral calculator also very easily. Okay. Or I will solve it and let you know. I will just post page in the afternoon. Don't worry. But what you have to do is the distance traveled if you want, you have to find the instantaneous velocity, which is under root of 1 plus t square into dt integral from 1 to 2. If you can evaluate this integral, then you will get the distance traveled. Evaluating this integral is not a part of our physics. You don't have to worry much about it. Okay. You can integrate using a web calculator also, not a problem. Okay. So don't worry too much about it. Don't worry too much about it. So that is how you can calculate the distance traveled. So there is a difference in calculation of, okay, distance and displacement, because displacement is simply joining the initial and final positions, but distance is length of the path covered. Okay. That is why there is definitely a difference. You must understand that. Okay. And accordingly proceed. Okay. In the problems that you are going to encounter in the worksheets, etc. Okay. So no problem. Okay. We can stop here, and tomorrow we will continue. Okay. And take it to the one-dimensional motion, which is very important. Okay. So we have to perform these integrations, differentiations a lot in this chapter. Okay. In the beginning, but later, okay, those things will go off. Okay. Don't worry much. Thank you.